I am in love. Hello, my fellow hunters, my fellow explorers of Wilds Beta. What a time to be alive and wielding the best incarnation of greatsword that has ever graced Monster Hunter. And today I want to talk, well, Wilds and greatsword, how I'm getting on in the beta so far, and just really wax lyrical on the pure deliciousness that is every second spent on the Windward Plains. So first and foremost, well, Wilds itself, I mean, yeah, it's phenomenal. We know it's phenomenal. This is pretty much the version that we've been playing at all the various events around the globe, that Hollow had a go at gamescom, that we've been covering and talking and enjoying, and yeah, so it's not like it's, you know, out of nowhere, completely new, whoa, first time we're seeing what it's all about, but it is the first time that a lot of you guys, and indeed, literally me, are controlling it. And, haha, it just fits like a glove, doesn't it? It is perfect. The world, to the monsters, to the weapons, everything is oozing with beautiful detail, with smooth class, and it really is special. I honestly have no doubt that Wilds is going to go down as one of the games of all time. And for me, more than anything, it's just the world of it, the living breathingness, the life in everywhere you look, the rolling weather, the native people, the endemic creatures, the monsters, of course, the large, open, just expanse of nature on display. It mesmerizes me like nothing else, and I really cannot express how much I adore it. But, of course, this is Monster Hunter. And that really is the key. And doing said hunting with big old swords of greatest greatness has never been more of a joy. This thing is ridiculous now. It's certainly gotten less new kind of flashy look at this basic alterations that other weapons have got. But honestly, it really didn't need it. I went after Raidao, of course, and I'm happy to report that I did get the kill on my first attempt, which was really, really satisfying. And bottom line, focus mode is everything for this weapon. Of course it is, we've talked about it, we knew it would be, but now that I've actually been playing around with it, it's just divine. The sad thing is there's no longer any excuses for missing anything. I mean, look at the new way to greatsword wake-up hit. You just kind of vaguely do attacks sort of near the monster, and then on the very last hit of the true charge, rotate round, and boom, there we go. It works out lovely. And then we have the quality of life of being able to shoulder tackle through an attack and then go into full true charge afterwards. If you did indeed shoulder an attack specifically, that just adds a lot of speed and fluidity to the weapon. And not to mention that if we do get the power clash off with your perfect block, which now is less stamina, less sharpness loss, and is really kind of a nice little get out of jail free card, though I still have it so ingrained in me to never block on greatsword that I've really not been using it outside of deliberately trying to make a clash happen because it's cool, and you can then once again pop off a free true charge after a clash. Then we have the offset attack, being able to get that counter, and because you can flow into the offset at any point during the charge combo, you can, instead of shoulder tackling an incoming attack, smoothly go into offsetting it with the follow-up, run-up, and slam down for a lovely bit of damage. There is a lot of extra layers and nuance to the decisions you can make, which all feel incredibly satisfying in Greatsword's toolkit and the mentality we have to have while playing. Then our actual focus mode attack itself is immensely enjoyable to use. The sawing along, popping wounds, it's really, really meaty, and the monster just kinda lets you do it each time, which is a thing that is supposed to happen, so it does give you a little bit of a breather and quite frequent knockdowns. And of course, our mounted finisher, being a similar kind of sawing multi-pop, is very much along the same veins. More than anything though, I think the speed of Greatsword has never been greater. And by that I mean your true charges per time that is coming out. We have so many tools now to help us keep consistently getting them that's exactly what happens. You keep consistently getting them, and you keep consistently landing them, and not just landing them, but landing them on the specific body part you want to land them on. Either a wound or just something with a lovely weak hit zone like your classic head, or to aim and chop a tail, and that just keeps happening on repeat and repeat and repeat. It really is singing, and I couldn't be happier. I don't need any kind of press button and super twirl in the air, throw the greatsword, dash after it, you know, kind of super moves that, while would be amusing, aren't really what it's about. This to me is Greatsword in its purest, most perfect form, which is the true charge cycle of world, with just the little extra fluid layers and a bit of a bell and whistle in your offset attack to really make it pop off and give you the kind of tools to deal with any situation. And the main tool that you will use is, nah, I'm just gonna keep true charging you, I don't care what you're doing, monster. And that is just immense. Whether you shoulder tackle, offset, or go into your power clash guard with a perfect guard, there is so many answers to every question the monster asks you, and you really now are, as a Greatsword user, a little bit of a know-it-all. And I do think that's borne out when you look at the weapon guide in-game in the demo, and the Greatsword list is like the shortest one there. A couple of others are similar, but I definitely think that kind of conveys what it needs to. Greatsword's complexity has never been in the moveset or learning the buttons. It has always been in the execution. It is the king of the execution weapons. Not necessarily I'm saying the hardest execution weapon, though I definitely would make a case for that, but I think it is the epitome of it in definition, and we have really had that added to in so many meaningful ways. What the monster is doing, where it is, what attacks happening, and timings have never been more important, and you have never been able to feel like more of a badass for absolutely mastering and thus countering everything that has been thrown at you. Honestly, my biggest problem so far is just kinda sticking with old reliable. Tackle, true charge, tackle, true charge. I really need to force myself to mix in more perfect guards for clashes, more offset attacks for the openings they give, and more of our focus wound popper attacks too. But that's just because, you know, it's new and those things will sink in, and the correct time for each is definitely going to take a little bit of learning per monster, and that's exactly what you want. That is the satisfaction of it. So really, I cannot stress enough that in terms of just pure fun value, yeah, my already favorite weapon is now even favoritiver, and if you guys feel the same, well, yeah, you are in for or are already enjoying the treat that is Wild's Greatsword. I think we're going to see some ridiculous setups doing ridiculous things with builds going into the game, and you know full well I'm going to be bringing you all of them because I have a problem. And then we have, of course, the swappy weapons. Yes, your hunting horn buff up and swap back is certainly a strong option, but when it comes to Greatsword swapping, I will be very curious as to the options. I do really admittedly like the idea of a sleep Greatsword and a wake up hit Greatsword. I think that'll be a fantastically really fun, amusing playstyle, and one I really want to look into, but there definitely is a few complementary options that we can have a mess around with, but ultimately, you are just going to be wanting to use the weapon you're comfortable with, and I think even in that sleep and wake scenario, you're just going to want like sleep ammo and a light bowgun more than a sleep greatsword, because it's going to get the job done a lot faster and be even more efficient. But there is, as I say, ways we can play with that system, but you know, expect to see a lot of greatsword with backup greatsword for the foreseeable future, at least from me. I'm also going to be very interested in if any motion values have changed or buffed, if elemental bias has been gotten tweaked or anything, because that's always something to look at, and with a couple of the new attacks, like the actual wound popper focus mode attack, that does hit a lot of times, so depending on how it's treating your element, it's not impossible we have a world where element greatsword isn't, you know, awful. I don't see it happen necessarily, but you know. I will say one thing though, is of course the beta we don't have all the armor skills, but we certainly don't have focus. But I've not actually felt like that terrible about not having focus. Charging speed seems to feel fine, and I think it's because of all the aforementioned tools I've talked about that really let true charge lands. So I think once we get the speed up that is focus, it's going to be even more ridiculous, and I'm really, really excited about that. Honestly, armor skills in general, with the various ways we have to play, that might help define it. I imagine there might be, and in fact there already is in the doshaguma set bonus attack for doing an offset attack, for example. So weaving that in to get the buff to then pump into your true charge might entirely be the way to go. Same with offensive guard and perfect blocks that we can now do. And I think that structure is going to be really helpful in getting an actual flow, an ideal rotation of what you're after on a greatsword. But bottom line, yeah, true charge is back, it is king, and it has never been more of a thing, and I am so happy about it, as I am the entirety of everything that I have played and seen, both today and, you know, over the last however many months we've been getting reveals. We, of course, will bring you loads more Wildsy stuff, but I am absolutely chuffed to high heaven that my favourite game and favourite weapon have both never been better. And thank you to all of you guys for being a part of this, for being a part of this community, for letting us do what we do. It is an honor to monster hunt with you and for you, and I hope to do it for as long as I can. For now then, let me know how your favourite weapon is holding up. Like you've enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.